Hey everyone, Rock DIY here. Today I'm going to go over this Klutch mini air belt sander. I just bought one. I actually had been in the market to purchase either a battery operated one or a corded one, and I've had no luck finding one. You just can't find them. Or if you do find one, they're typically the more expensive ones. This one here cost $99. And the only other one that I could find that was a battery operated one, I think it was Makita, was almost $400. So I ended up purchasing this mini air belt sander for an air compressor. And so this is what you get for $99. Comes with two belts. I think it's 100 and 120 grit. You get two Allen wrenches. You get a large one and a small one. And then the sander itself has a belt on it as well. It's 80 grit and 100 grit sanding belts. Not sure which one is which because they're not really marked. Anyway, so something to note right away is that this mini air belt sander can only be used at 90 psi. You can't go anything above that. So you do have to be careful with making sure that your air compressor is set to 90 psi. Something else to note when you do buy this, and if you, in my case, I was surprised to see that they had even this type, so I jumped on it right away, and I didn't really think about it, but it doesn't come with a quick disconnect. The good thing is that I just happen to have one at home, and I had a bunch of these, so I was able to set it up. But if you don't have any of these quick disconnects, make sure you purchase one when you buy the mini air belt sander. So as I already said, this is supposed to be operated at 90 psi. It does have selectable speeds, and right here there is a switch to change the speed, and the speeds go from 10,000 RPM to 11,000 to 13,000, 14,500, and 15,500. As I said, this one came with two belts. This one was kind of crimped up in the box. Hopefully it's not damaged. But these belts are 15-30 seconds by 18 inches. And I would highly recommend that if you purchase this one or any other one, that you buy additional belts, because you're probably going to go through these belts pretty quick. This is your trigger to operate. You got your information here, and it does say right here on this label 90 psi max, and it does have a serial number thing here, but there is no serial number, so it must not be important enough to have a serial number. You do have these two Allen wrenches, as I previously mentioned. This big one goes here, and then this little tiny one, I'm not 100% sure what it goes to. I've looked, and I also looked in the manual and did not see where small Allen wrench goes. And the other screws on here are Phillips or flat tip. And the Allen wrench that goes here loosens this piece up, which allows you to remove it, the entire thing. You can see that right here it's separated, and it clamps down onto your handle. So there is all that. There is the manual as well, and some good information in it. It's got operating instructions, maintenance, and good thing is it's got a list of replacement parts. And as I said, if you don't have these quick disconnects, I think this set here, it's got 3 male, 1 female, and then a separate coupler. Yeah, I think these were $9.99, I believe. But you can pick those up at Tractor Supply or Harbor Freight or any of your big box hardware stores. In my case, I did buy some extra belts. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, I better buy some belts because when I need them, I won't be able to find them or get them. And this is 80 grit, 100 grit, and 120 grit. The way that you change the belt is to push here, and there's a little bar right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to push that bar down, push this part in until this little piece right here gets behind the little hook. Once it's past the hook, let this go, it locks it in place. And then you just take your belt off and put your belt back on. Release it, and there you go. That's it. Pretty easy to change the belt out. All right, so I have my air compressor set at 90 psi. I have it connected to the mini air belt sander, so I'm ready to go. I don't hear any air leak, so that's a good start. And I'm going to keep the trigger on the bottom side, and you'll see that the arrow is pointing that direction, so your belt is going that direction. And one of the things that you may have to do, because you can see here, this is pretty loose on here, because if you start to use it and you don't have it tight enough, you may feel it going away from you depending on what you're doing. So you do want to tighten it up. I'm going to explain what I'm going to do, because once I start using it, the air compressor is going to come on and then you won't be able to hear me. I'm just going to go through the different settings and you can hear the difference. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it in the video or not. And I'm just going to sand this block. I already did a little sanding right here. But I'm just going to go through the different settings on the variable speed switch here. So the first one is going to be 10,000. And so here we go. It's the first one. This switch doesn't like lock in at each setting. It just basically floats, so it's not going to click or anything as you change it. So this is the second setting. Third setting. That was all 5 settings of the mini air belt sander, and that's the first time I've ever used it. I'm actually pretty impressed with how well the belt stays on, because the only thing that's really keeping it guided is this wheel right here. It's keeping it on here, but this other wheel at the opposite end, it's not doing anything to really keep the wheel in place. So I'm pretty impressed that it's staying on as well as it is, and it does a pretty good job sanding. I personally wouldn't think that you would want more power than what this has, unless you want to get very aggressive. But there's probably a better, or well, more likely there's a better tool out there for more aggressive work. Not too bad. I personally would have preferred a battery operated or corded mini belt sander. I didn't mention it previously, but if you're looking to purchase one of these, it's item number 47923, and this one specifically you can get at Northern Tool. Just a little bit of follow-up on use of this tool. Got to use it a little bit. This is a handle. It used to be on the door of our garden, and it was pretty rough cut. It's nothing elaborate. It's just a handle to open and close the door. But I did use the mini belt sander on it, and it actually does a pretty good job. What I like about it is that you can move it backwards and forwards without any issues, and then you can also cant it left or right and move left and right without any issues. I thought maybe, if I started going left or right, it would probably work the belt off. But the good thing is it didn't work the belt off. It actually did a pretty good job of sanding. I'll have to get a little more experience with it, but I was able to clean this up. I had some rough cuts on it. They were sticking out. And this thing sanded them down pretty quick and easily. Something else to point out on this tool is that it is an all metal construction. So unless you have a very nicely heated workshop and you're using it, this tool does get very cold in the winter. Right now it's about 35 outside, and after you use this for a little while, you can really feel the cold in the handle. So just be aware that I think if it was rubberized, it wouldn't be as bad, but it does get pretty cold.